James, the author of the book of James. Background reading: 1 Corinthians 15:7, Galatians 1:9, Mark 15:40, Luke 24:10, Acts 15:13 through 21. Key terms: Gentile, dispersion, diaspora. Introduction. The book of James is interesting. It gives insight into various things that are involved in the behavior of the early saints as well as the saints of today. The book is written to the 12 tribes of Israel that have been spread abroad among other nations, but these writings also apply to the saints of today. It is said to be written by James, the half-brother of Jesus, sometimes called James the Just. The New Testament refers to three James who interact with and around Jesus. In Mark 3:17, we read about James, the son of Zebedee, and John, his brother. Jesus called James the son of Alphaeus, whose name is listed in Luke 6 and verse 15. The Apostle Paul said that he did not see any of the apostles except Peter and James, the Lord's brother, Galatians 1:19. We do not want to get these three apostles named James confused. They each had their own function in the building of the New Testament church, just as every believer has his special place in the body today. Discussion. All believers must know and believe in the virgin birth of Jesus Christ. Isaiah prophesied, "Behold, a virgin shall conceive and bring forth a son, and shall call his name Emmanuel." Isaiah 7:14 and Matthew 1:23 said, "The virgin will conceive and give birth to a son, and thou shalt call his name Emmanuel," which means God with us. Believers know that Mary, who was a virgin, gave birth to Jesus. She married Joseph and they had children. Mark 6:3 lets the believers know that Mary had other sons, James, Hoseas, Judas, and Simon, and had daughters whose names were not listed. Matthew 13:55 also names his brothers James, Hoseas, Simon, and Judas. Knowing that Jesus was James' brother, let the believers know that James must have spent time with Jesus and got to know him quite well. At first, he and his other brothers did not want to accept Jesus as the Son of God. They saw him as their brother, the son of Mary and Joseph. They saw him as the son of their father, Joseph the carpenter. John 7:5. It seems to have been very difficult for James to see his brother as more than just his brother. More than 2 years of Jesus' public ministry had passed before James was able to believe that his brother was the Son of God. But when he saw his dead brother walking and talking, he knew that Jesus was not just an ordinary man. James changed his view after Jesus appeared unto him after the resurrection in 1 Corinthians 15:7. Jesus appeared to James before he appeared to the other disciples, which had special significance to James. After James saw Jesus and believed and embraced him, he became the force to reckon with in the church. From the moment he encountered Jesus, the risen Lord, he became committed and devoted to serving Jesus and the church. He no longer saw him just as his brother, but he saw Jesus as Lord. He was among the 120 that went and stayed in the upper room and tarried until he received the baptism of the Holy Ghost with the other disciples in Acts 1:14. James rose to prominence on the level of Peter and John. He became a very influential leader in the early church. Because James had a Jewish upbringing, he was able to use his understanding of Jewish life, and his knowledge played a key role in Jerusalem Council. He was able to help decide during the early church debates as to whether non-Jews had to adopt Jewish practices to be considered Christians. This debate had caused much confusion among the Jews and the Gentiles of the church, and was causing a great division among the people. The council decided that the church should not make it difficult for the Gentiles who were turning to God. Conclusion. James addressed his letter, which later became the book of James, to the 12 tribes scattered among the nations. This group of people was most likely a group of Jewish Christians who were part of the general dispersion of Jews throughout the Mediterranean region. These Jewish Christians were enduring persecution at the hands of non-believers and were also experiencing extreme financial hardship. Normally, the Jews prosper wherever they were, and many were yet prospering. In this letter, James asked the wealthy Jews to show love and compassion and help the poor believers where needed. The early church believed that if one was blessed, all should be blessed. The same plea is given to believers who are prospering today. If you see your brother in need and have this world's good, do not shut up your bowels of compassion, for if you do, you do not have the love of God in your heart. Essential thought. Just as God had a special place of ministry for James, He has a special place for you. Thank you for listening. And for more information about this lesson, please see COGIC.org.